The hospital room was too quiet, too clean, too white. Elijah Cross lay still on the bed, his skin pale against the sharp sheets. Wires clung to his chest. A slow beep echoed through the room. His heart beat. 1. Pause. Another. The doctor stood near the foot of the bed, holding a clipboard like it weighed 100 pounds. He cleared his throat. "We've run every test. The results are final." He looked at Gloria and Franklin Cross, Elijah's parents. "Your son has a year left, maybe less." The words didn't shake the room. They just hung there. Gloria's hand flew to her mouth. Her pearls trembled against her neck as she held back a cry. Franklin didn't move. He stood like a statue, arms crossed, jaw clenched, eyes staring at nothing. Elijah blinked slowly. No fear. No panic. Just silence. 1 year? He asked, voice soft but sharp. "You're sure?" The doctor nodded. "I'm sorry, Elijah. We'll keep you as comfortable as we can." Elijah let out a quiet laugh, bitter and short. "Comfortable? I'm dying, not going on vacation." Gloria stepped forward, trying to smile through tears. "Baby, we'll get the best treatment. There are clinics in Europe." "Mom." His voice stopped her. He turned his head slowly to face her. "I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of disappearing." That's when Franklin finally spoke. His voice was deep, cold. "You're not going anywhere. We built an empire for you. Cross Industries belongs to you." Elijah stared at the ceiling again. What's the point of an empire if the king has no heir? Silence. Gloria looked at Franklin, her eyes suddenly sharp. "He's right." Elijah let his eyes fall shut. "I'm a ticking clock now, and just like that." The countdown had begun. Dinner at the Cross estate was always quiet. Expensive silverware, candlelight. Not a word wasted. Tonight was different. Elijah sat across from his parents, barely touching his food. His hands shook, slightly, but he hid it well. Gloria kept glancing at him, then at Franklin, then back again. She finally broke the silence. "We need to talk." Franklin didn't even look up. "We're eating." "This can't wait." Elijah raised one eyebrow. "Let me guess. It's about me dying." Gloria's voice cracked. "Don't say it like that, Elijah." "Why not? It's true, isn't it?" He gave a small, bitter smile. "Clock's ticking." Franklin slammed his fork down. "Enough!" But Gloria leaned in, voice firm now. "If he dies without a child, the Cross legacy ends." Franklin's eyes narrowed. "You want him to make a baby before he's in the grave?" "I want him to live on through something. Through someone." Her voice was sharp now. "If our son is leaving this world, he should leave behind a reason he was ever here." Elijah stared at his mother, quiet, then slowly pushed his plate away. "You want me to marry someone?" Gloria didn't deny it. "Someone who understands. Someone who can give us hope," Franklin scoffed. "This is desperate. We're not dragging our dying son into some circus marriage." "Then what, Franklin?" she snapped. "Let him die and take our name with him." Elijah exhaled, then looked at both of them. Calm, tired, resigned. "Fine. I'll marry." He paused. "But not for love. Not for romance. Just tell me who you want." Gloria whispered, "Thank you, baby." But Elijah wasn't smiling. He stood up slowly, steadying himself against the chair. "Let's just make sure whoever it is knows what they're signing up for." He walked out of the room. Behind him, the chandelier flickered. Gloria Cross moved like a woman on a mission. Within 48 hours, she had arranged a private brunch at the estate. No press, no outsiders. Just a quiet invitation to a few hand-picked families from her elite social circle. People who understood the language of legacies, mergers, and reputations. The mansion's marble floors gleamed, crystal glasses clinked gently. Everything was perfect, because it had to be. One by one, the girls arrived. They wore smiles like masks, dresses tailored to impress, conversations rehearsed like scripts. The first girl, Lena, spoke only in compliments. She laughed too hard, smiled too wide. Her eyes flicked to the family portraits more than they did to Elijah. The second, Nyla, was quieter, polite, pretty. But each question she asked led back to money, travel, inheritance, companies. She asked nothing about Elijah himself. Elijah sat through each meeting like a ghost, present but not there. He nodded when expected, smiled when required, but behind his eyes the silence grew heavier. Then came the third girl, Sierra Monroe. She entered with ease, wearing a pale green dress and quiet confidence. She didn't rush to impress. She didn't pretend not to notice the oxygen monitor, clipped to Elijah's finger. Instead, she sat across from him in the garden and simply said, "You look tired. Should I leave you to rest?" Elijah blinked, unsure how to respond. Sierra didn't wait. She leaned back and watched the wind move through the trees. They sat like that, still, quiet, unforced. After a while, she turned to him again, her voice soft, steady. "You're not your illness. You're still a man worth knowing." Elijah looked at her fully for the first time. For a second, just a flicker, something shifted in him. The wall cracked, and he smiled. A real smile, not wide, not loud, but real. And Gloria, watching, from the window saw it. She placed a hand over her chest, eyes wet with hope. This could be the one. The house had gone quiet for the night. The estate lights dimmed. Staff retreated to their quarters. Gloria and Franklin retired early, whispering about how well the day had gone. Sierra stood in the upstairs hallway, still wearing her soft green dress. She moved silently toward the guest bathroom, checking behind her before slipping inside. The door clicked shut. She didn't turn on the light. Instead, she pulled out her phone. The screen lit up her face, just enough to show the shift in her expression. Gone was the warm smile. Gone was the soft innocence. Now, her eyes were sharp, focused, calculating. She tapped the screen quickly, typing with steady thumbs. "He believes everything. I'm in." A message pinged back almost instantly. "Told you rich men are easy." Sierra smiled. She opened her gallery and selected a photo. It was a mirror selfie, her arms around a muscular man in a tank top, grinning. They looked like fire and gasoline, wild, reckless, in love. His name popped up on the screen. Malik. She sent him the photo of Elijah, taken earlier from the garden. Elijah looking down, peaceful, vulnerable. "Give me 1 year. We'll be rich forever." Malik replied with a heart emoji and a $sign. Sierra tucked the phone back into her purse and stared at herself in the mirror. Her reflection half-shadowed. She practiced the smile again, soft, caring, believable. Then whispered to herself, "Just 1 year, baby. 1 funeral, 1 fortune." She walked out of the bathroom like nothing happened. And for the first time in the story, we realize the real danger isn't death, it's betrayal. The mansion had become a parade of perfume and pearls. Every weekend, another girl, another brunch, another suitable match. But in the background, quiet, steady, was someone who never left, Nia Carter, 23. Daughter of the Cross families, head chef. No designer heels, no manicured hands. Just old sneakers, a clean apron, and hair tucked in a faded scarf. She moved like someone used to being ignored. On Sunday afternoon, as Sierra posed for photos in the sitting room, Nia walked quietly through the hallway, carrying a bowl of soup on a tray. She didn't look up. She just did her job, until Elijah saw her. He was walking slowly, leaning on the wall for support. He stopped when he noticed her pass by. She didn't flinch, didn't panic, just nodded and kept walking. "Wait," Elijah said. His voice was softer now, almost uncertain. "Are you new here?" Nia turned around, one eyebrow raised. Then she smiled, small but real. "I've been here for years. You just never noticed." He blinked. She was right. He had lived in this house for decades and never once looked at the people who kept it running. "What's your name?" "Nia." She nodded again and walked past him, disappearing around the corner. He stared after her, not because of what she wore, not because of how she looked, but because, for the first time in weeks, someone spoke to him like he was just a person. It was late afternoon. Sunlight stretched across the stone garden path, like golden thread. Elijah sat under the shade of a tree, wrapped in a thick sweater despite the warmth. His body was weak, but his mind restless. Across the lawn, he saw movement. Nia, alone, watering the roses near the fence. He watched her quietly. She moved with care, almost like she was talking to the plants. After a while, she looked up and noticed him. "You're out early," she said. "Couldn't sleep." She gave a small nod, turned the hose off and wiped her hands on her apron. Then, to his surprise, she walked over and sat on the bench beside him. They didn't speak right away. The silence wasn't awkward. It was safe. Birds chirped. Wind moved through the leaves. Then Nia asked softly, "You ever wonder what people would do if you weren't rich?" Elijah didn't answer immediately. He looked at his hands, thinner than they used to be. "Every day," he finally said. "Now more than ever." She nodded. "Well, now you know." Elijah glanced at her. No pity in her eyes. No fear. Just calm honesty. "You're not afraid of me?" Nia turned to him. "Why would I be?" He smiled a little. "Because I'm dying." Nia tilted her head. "Everybody's dying. You just got a louder reminder." They both laughed, just a little. It was the first time Elijah had laughed in weeks. He looked at her, really looked, and realized something. She wasn't trying to fix him. She wasn't trying to save him. She was just there. And in a world full of masks, that felt like a miracle. The swipe of a black card echoed like music inside the boutique. Sierra twirled in front of a mirror, wearing a designer jacket that cost more than most people's rent. The salesgirl clapped politely. "Shall I bag it?" Sierra smirked and held up Elijah's card. "He said to spoil myself." She paused, then added with a wink. "He just didn't say how much." She left the store with 5 bags swinging from each arm, her phone buzzing with Malik's texts. "How much damage today?" "We're building an empire, baby." She smiled to herself. Every step, every lie, every kiss. It was all part of the plan. Back at the Cross estate, the smell of burnt oil hung in the kitchen. Nia stood beside her father, scrubbing a scorched pan like her life depended on it. Her apron was soaked, her fingers raw, her back ached. Her father, Chef Marcus, sighed. "We gotta get you gloves, girl." She laughed. "We gotta get you new pans first." That's when Elijah walked in. Not in silk, not in shoes, just house slippers and a hoodie, moving slowly but deliberately. Nia turned around, startled. "You're not supposed to be here." Elijah gave a small shrug. "Maybe. I'm tired of where I'm supposed to be." He walked over to the sink, picked up a sponge, and started scrubbing the edge of the same pan. Nia stared at him. No one, no guest, no family member, had ever stepped foot in this kitchen like that. Not like an equal. Not like this. They didn't speak much, but side by side, elbow to elbow, something unspoken passed between them. Not charity, not duty, just peace. The sky was soft with evening light. The city buzzed in the distance, but the Cross estate sat quiet. Elijah stood at the balcony, arms folded, breath shallow. Below him, a black luxury car pulled up. Sierra stepped out, her heels clicking against the marble, her smile picture perfect. He didn't wave. Then, across the lawn, he spotted something else. Nia, still in her apron, still wearing those same worn sneakers, laughing with her father, carrying a tray of fresh-baked cornbread, her joy completely unfiltered. He didn't smile this time. He just watched and thought. I have 1 year. Enough to make a child. Enough to make a mistake. But maybe, just maybe, enough to make something real. But the real question is, will Elijah open his heart to Nia, the quiet girl who never asked for anything? Or will Sierra's lies stay hidden long enough to win it all? Stay tuned for part 2, because in a world full of masks, the truth always finds a way out.